Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and I wanted to finally make a new Betrayal video. There's been a lot of changes this season, so I want to make a new crack at updating the new players who don't fully know how to engage with it. It is an extremely profitable mechanic, and yeah, it has changed a lot this season. Betrayal is the most complicated mechanic to Path of Exile, so if you're completely new, I don't blame you if you just want to focus on easier things like Harvest, Essences, etc. But anyway, let's dive into Betrayal. With Betrayal, you have a bunch of people, you have 4 different safe houses, and you see like some bars filling up. So I'm going to walk you through everything and start with some basics. Then I'm going to explain 2 different strategies, the last one being quite complicated, but also by far the best one. You've probably seen a lot of streamers that their safe house looks something like this, which looks very complicated, and I'm going to try to break it down for you as easy as possible. Now, first off, let's start with the different safe houses. You have transport, you have fortification, you have research, and you have intervention. Every time that you are in a zone with Betrayal, you will always have research and you will always have intervention.
It is how you are weak.
Reinrot, dead ahead.
Oh, guess I was better as a merchant than
And then it is a 50-50 between transport and fortification.
in a caravan. A true warrior. Exile.
Now, just to start with some of the tactics that you can use, you can actually block this. So by leaving this safe house full or ready to go, then for the next 3 runs, you'll only get transport. So this is sort of the stuff that we're going to be engaging with, and we're going to be using like some clever use of game mechanics to make sure that we get things in our favor. So whenever you encounter a Syndicate member, you always have 3 options you can do. You can always interrogate to gain intelligence. This will lower by 1 star and put them in prison for 3 turns. And you always have the option of releasing them. That's the middle option, and sometimes easy to miss. Releasing them like that will just not affect your board. It's very useful, and I do it very often. The third option is either betray, execute, or bargain. So this will change depending on how many people are in the group and a few other things. Sometimes, for example, bargain can betray or remove relationships. You really have to read the right side option. It's the most important thing, that you're fully clear on what it does each time. Both the left and middle options are always static, but yeah, the right side one changes, which makes it the hardest one. Bargain can sometimes remove relationships, sometimes he'll just have drop currency items, drop scarabs, etc., and those are very good, and they will not change your board. Sometimes you'll get the option to make them rivals without lowering stars on the other, and sometimes it'll basically reset them, but you'll get the betrayal line. So, the right side option, read it. Do you want to bring some color and excitement to your walls and show off your interests and hobbies? Display makes that possible with their awesome metal posters. Not only do they look vibrant and amazing, but they also are incredibly easy to set up. No longer do you have to drill holes in your walls, as every display is attached by a magnetic sticker. After applying a protective layer, you stick this magnet to your wall. It makes it extremely easy to adjust and swap your displays out. It's so simple even I can do it. Displays come in all shapes and sizes, with a focus on being customizable and collectible. They offer a countless unique and licensed artwork, including the Gauntlet collection. You can find all of the Gauntlet designs that we have created for each event with the different artists with different versions suited to your personal taste. Head on over to display.com and use code Zizaran at checkout for a unique discount on your orders and these amazing metal posters. And I've had a huge display thing made on my wall behind me that is also for sale, as well as the individual soldiers. Check it out and look how cool it looks. Displays are not yet edible, so please don't try eating them. Now, as for the Atlas points, I think I've taken every single betrayal point except this one. It just makes them really rippy. The equipment can be things like petrify and really dangerous things. So betrayal will drop veiled gear. Now previously, if you're a returning player, you'd be unveiling all of this at Jan, and she would give you things for your crafting bench. All of that has been moved. You don't unveil a single craft anymore, and all of them are now like this is in caverns, refinery. You can just hover over and see where all of them are. So there is no reason to, for example, this is a bad ring. It is never going to be good no matter what I unveil here. So even if it's as power charge on kill, it is completely useless. However, if let's say that I found a ring with 90 life, 30 cold rest, 15 all rest, and an open veiled suffix, that would be really worth picking up, because then it could be like endurance charge on kill. So keep that in mind for what you're picking up. A lot of people just remove all the veiled items and don't bother with the few ones that they're missing out on. I'm in solo self-on, so I am picking them up. Also, I do want to give a shout out to the community in general as well. Obviously, I've been playing around with Betrayal a lot myself this season and been working on a spreadsheet, but I do want to give big credit to Business. He's figured out a lot of cool stuff this season, and also Aelith, which is I'm going to be using Aelith's cheat sheet because I think it's really well made, and I think we will use that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rewards. So I will use Aelith's cheat sheet, like I mentioned. She has her own recommendations as well for what is good or what isn't. So Corvicius is the most popular one. This is always farmed. So what this means is Corvicius in Transport will give you a full stack of divination cards. And at level 3, these will be pretty rare. That doesn't mean necessarily great, but there will be things that are pretty rare. So it does have a chance to be Mage Blood, Doctor, Divine cards, stuff like that. And you do very frequently get Divines. Here, there's one divination card trapped in a chest. Here you swap them, and here you get Scarabs. So it's pretty intuitive to understand where you have to put somebody to get what reward. Now, personally, what I'm farming is I'm farming Corvicius and Guff in Transport. There's not really anyone I care that much about in Transport. Some people like Rorichi as well. I will explain why I don't do that. And then in Research, I do Riker and I do Janus. Now, this is a little bit because I'm solo self-on. Janus, obviously, one of the best ways to get uniques in solo self-on, and same with Riker, which is what I'm looking for. Now, another good thing is that Janus is good in both Transport and Research, and Guff is good in both Transport and Research. And with the strategies, you generally, especially the advanced one, you're very locked into it. This is something you set up once and you don't touch it. So the fact that you can actually move these two around then is really nice, because Guff is really good in Research as well because of the reflecting mist jewelry. As you can see, there are a lot of other things that are really good here. And things will be worth differently in Trade League. Like I've heard a lot of people say Tora is really good in Trade League because of the facetor lenses. And that is a useful thing. But anyway, enough about the rewards. Obviously, that does matter what rank they are and stuff like that. But how do we move them around? How do we increase their rank? Generally, to be able to increase somebody in rank, there needs to be multiple Betrayal members on one safe house. So let's say that we had Corvicius and Guff appear. I'll be able to upgrade Guff to level 3. And the reason it goes straight to level 3 is Test of Loyalty makes 1 additional rank. So if Corvicius and Guff is here, at least one of them will usually be able to level up to level 3. And then obviously if you have multiple people in the safe house, which you commonly will have early on, and maybe you don't really want to start with a strategy or lock yourself into a strategy early on, then you would maybe have multiple people in one safe house. So let's say we had like Guff, Ashling, Elrion, and Horatius in here, then I would be able to like level up several of them with the right side option, which will very often be Execute and will give rank. And the left side option is basically based on how many levels they have. You will gain intelligence, which is the number that fills up safe houses and makes them ready to go. So let's say Guff was level 3 and I click the left side option, it'll be 18 intelligence roughly to the safe house. Once it's at 100%, it is ready to go. You just activate it and you run through some monsters, kill the bosses at the end, like the Betrayal members. Especially, it seems to be a combination of how high level the safe house is, which is just based on the zone you're doing them in, and how many members are there. You will potentially get a Catarina token. And that is just a boss fragment, lets you run Catarina. You know, she's okay. She can drop the Veiled Exalted Orb and has some good unique items. Not going to focus too much on Catarina because she's sort of outside the Betrayal mechanic, outside of being a boss fragment now. And I do get that this mechanic is really complicated, but if you don't want to bother learning it, I would say Betrayal is potentially not worth running, because if you're not farming them in their safe house where they're worth, it's mostly very random rewards. Like, you don't really care if you get 2 ultimatum scarabs. It's very unimportant to your progress. You've just wasted time. So if you're not really enjoying it and you're just finding it very complicated, you're best kind of leaving it. But I want to try to explain how we do all these things and why it's worth farming. So obviously I've explained what the rewards are and why they are good. You now know how to level them up. And now I have to explain a little bit about the tactic that we're currently using. And this is not a great tactic, but it's a very simple tactic to understand. So we have 2 people in transportation, 2 in research, and 5 in fortification and intervention. The reason for that is just so that they don't shuffle around and they don't move, and that we always 100% of the time have the people here that we're going to fit farming. The potential downside to this is that we are never running a fortification safe house and we are never running an intervention safe house. So ideally we are filling this one up. This one doesn't really matter if we fill up, and from both of whenever we're engaging with these maps, we do sometimes get like drop additional currency, drop unique items, or drop scarabs. They're fun rewards that can happen on the right side option. But let's say that I run into a map now and this isn't active, right? The safe house isn't runnable. Then most of these would appear. I would probably kick out or like left click option Ashleen, which would put her down here for 3 turns, but it would fill up this safe house so that for 2 or 3 rounds, I can't remember exactly, this is unrunnable, and then these maps I will then always 100% of the time be getting transport. So that is quite nice. For intervention, it doesn't really matter. I don't really care if it's filled or not filled, but we are focusing on running research and transportation. So these are the only safe houses you'll actually be clicking run on. Now, what about moving them around and betrayal lines and stuff like that? So the betrayal lines basically help them appear. There are friendship lines as well, and whenever you're trying to get a betrayal line, if you get the offer of a friendship line first, like trusted, then you should take that because that can later turn into a betrayal line very often. But those lines, what they do is they basically make them more likely to be accompanying each other, shuffle into each other's safe houses and stuff like that. This strat is sort of basic, but the next strat uses it a lot more. And that is the more complicated one. It takes roughly 16 hours to set up. So it is a lot of work, but it makes you a lot of money. So right now we have 1 person on transport connected to 1 person on research. And obviously these 2 will be, whenever you do like the kick out option, the left option, getting the ranks up, they will shuffle sometimes. So that's not that important. And I think ideally you want it the other way around, where like the transport leader connects to the research peasant, if you will, and vice versa. I'm going to do a quick test run and show how I will be interacting with it, just to make it a little easier. So here we have the research safe house. I'm going to go into it. RF kind of is killing everything. I'll yell at you. Now I only got Janice, so this is kind of annoying. But since he has 2 stars, I might as well interrogate him because the safe house isn't about to go up. It's going to get 12 more, putting it at 88. And obviously I can take it from rank 1 to rank 3 because of the node granting double upgrade. So as long as I never kick anyone fully out of their safe house, I'm pretty happy. Then next up, just this one, intervention, doesn't really matter. Now, I never want to make lines with anyone else. I never want, let's say, it that fled and rain. Like, I don't want any other betrayal lines. So both of these, like, none of this really did anything, and none of the gear here was any particularly good. So here we have fortification, a little bit unfortunate. I will do another map because I want to show off transport, but I might as well show how I handle fortification when it spawns. Just kill them. Now obviously we have both of these. None of these really matter. We never want to do the remove option. But now I can just interrogate. And it is important to remember that you do have the release option as well. So sure. Now this safe house is full. Sort of usable ring, but we're going to go into a new map because I now will get a guaranteed transport. Now I can see here that the safe house is full. We obviously, like I mentioned, have no want to engage with it because I don't want things to shuffle. I want to keep farming the ones that I am. And I don't really, yeah, it's not something I want to mess with. And we're going to go here and hope that we are getting something like both of them. Now, it should, because of the skill points we have a big chance to spawn both of them, but it very often isn't, which is frustrating. Now he's 1 star, so I can't really interrogate. I obviously don't want to bargain because that creates a new trusted line. So now I'm going to click release. And you're already seeing some of the shortcomings of this strategy and why the next one is a lot better, which I will be switching to. But, and everyone I know is farming that one, it is a lot more work. Here you see that we have both a Giannis and Guth. So now what we can do is we can either rank up Guff or we can rank up Jonas. I'm going to rank up Jonas because this safe house is very, very close to hitting. And what I want to do here is I want to like rank up Jonas, and then I will be ranking up Riker whenever I get the opportunity to, because we do want to do that before the safe house is ready to run. How do you move them around, and how do you get the betrayal option? Whenever somebody doesn't have a star, so let's say instead of, let's say that I was in the process of moving them around, and I had the scenario we just had where we had Guff and Giannis, I could kick Giannis out, and then he would have 0 stars. He would go here for 3 turns, and he would have 0 stars. He would not belong to any safe house. Whenever they don't belong to any safe house, there's just a chance they appear in safe houses. And then let's say that I really wanted him in research, but he appeared at intervention. I would just click the option in the middle, the one that you do nothing basically. And I would keep doing nothing with him until he appears in research. Now, they will sometimes just go to a safe house and be like, okay, I'm done not belonging anywhere. I'm going here. Then you just got to kick them out again and keep them at 0 stars until they appear where you belong. Now, what about betrayal lines? Do we have a way of forcing that, or is that just a random option that appears now and again? We do thankfully have a option. Gravicius is the leader of transport, and Riker is a passenger of transport, and Guff is the leader of research, and Jonas is a passenger. At some point, the tenant or whatever will get the option to betray the leader, and then you get the lines, and then you can swap them afterwards. So I would then have like Jonas betray Guff, then I would kick Guff out and have him stay here for a little bit and then appear back in transport later. So hopefully that is pretty simple. It is just make sure they have 0 stars, then don't do anything with them in the wrong safe houses. Now, this is an okay strategy. You will fairly regularly be filling up the exact ones you want, and you will never have to move them around again. As long as you're never accidentally kicking them fully out. Like the things that you never want to do. You never want to do 2 safe houses in a row. Like for example, let's say that transport and research were filled at the same time. I don't want to do transport, then instantly run research. This can cause them to like shift a little bit. I never want to kick somebody out to 1 star. I always want to keep them at least 1 star. Whenever they're 2 or 3, you can use the left side option to upgrade the intelligence level of the safe house. And I never want to cause any other relationships. These are the only people with relationships. Now, I want to do a crack at explaining the complicated scenario. I actually don't think it's that complicated. It just looks a little overwhelming. So I will use Steel Mage's screenshot that he sent me to do that. What are the lines here, and why is it good, and who are lined? So it is actually quite simple. There is a line between the people that you are farming and everyone that you are not, right? So you'll notice we are farming Gravicius, we're farming Guff, we're farming Riker, and we're farming Giannis. Now there are no lines between them at all. So you do need a fully clean board to do this. What I recommend for that is sometimes you will randomly get the option eliminate all rivalries in this safe house. So like all the research ones or all the fortification ones. And also whenever you do get the option, just kick people out. Sometimes you'll just get the option of remove from safe house. I found that I was mostly finding that on people that were lonely. So for example, Riker is a good example. Sometimes Riker will give you the option, remove Riker from safe house. He's like, peace. So just keeping, let's say that I wanted to reset Riker, I will just keep him like this until I get that option. And like, I do later want him, but you will just be cycling them out. Like a lot of people watching this video will not have Gravicius and will be wondering how to get him. You just have to kick out the ones that you don't care about. So any of these people, I would kick out until I finally have them. To start setting this up, first you need a fully clean atlas. You need betrayal lines between no one, ideally, unless it's one of the ones that we're about to tell you to set up. And then you need to move 4 leaders in. You need to have Guff needs to be a leader, Jonas needs to be a leader, Gravicius can be leader of fortification, and Riker of intervention. At this point, you are, by the way, for the next 15 hours, not completing a single safe house. You are just ignoring them when they're full, because you don't want things to shuffle around, but you want them to be leaders so that others get the betrayal options. And that means that you need to be cycling all of these between the other safe houses. So as you can see here, Gravicius has a relationship with Corel, Jorgen, Borichi, Rin, Helic, Tora, Haku, Vegan, Ashling, and It That Fled. All the ones we are not farming. He does not have a relationship with Guff, Giannis, or Riker. So it is pretty simple. I hope that I've explained this simple enough. The ones you're farming have a relationship with everyone that you are not farming. So just like Ravicious, Guff has a relationship with Ashlyn, Vegan, Haku, Ithat Fled, Tora, Helik, Rin, Borichi, Jorgen, and Corel. And you need to set that up for all of them. And that takes a long time. It takes like no-lifers like me, Tom, Steele, like 13 to 16 hours. It is a pain. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, you keep the 4 that you're farming as leaders until this is set up, and you're just removing. Let's say that Ashlyn is here on fortification and Gravicious is the leader. Whenever Ashlyn gets that betrayal thing, then I kick her out and I move somebody else in, and I'm just constantly moving these around. At this point, you don't care about which safe house they're in. You're just keeping them as leader and getting these betrayal lines. And it does take a long time to make sure that all of your leaders have a relationship with all the ones you don't. Why do we do this? And how does it work? What's so beneficial about it? So, the big problem with the strategy I'm currently farming is it actually takes quite a while to fill up the safe houses. Because like you noticed, I don't always get both of them. And even when I do, I only get to use a little bit of like their rank. I get to like take them from rank 3 to 2. But I'm only getting like 18 or 12 intelligence juice. So this isn't that exciting. Now, what's different with this strategy? Whenever you're doing transport now with this strategy, Guff and Gravicious can appear, but they will very, very often be accompanied by 1 to 3 others. So you can have up to 5. And then, let's say this scenario happens, right? Where I'm doing transport, and Gravicious appears, Guff appears, but also Ashlyn, Vegan, and Haku. Now I have 3 people that I can put in jail for like 60 intelligence juice. So I left click Ashlyn, Vegan, Haku. I might even have the option to execute Gravicious with no downside, just like +1 rank, already at max rank, which would be another little bit extra. But it almost insta fills up the safe houses. It's so insane. I'm very, very much going to switch to this. And that's the benefit. Now, obviously, I'm still following the same thing. 2, 5, 2, 5. And I'm never kicking anyone out completely, right? The lowest I'll have anyone go is 1 star. I never change any relationships. I never run back-to-back safe houses. Never do any swapping. Nobody loses their stars. As a quick addendum, also I'm a little sick at the moment. I've now spent the 2 days I was sick setting up my betrayal, like from the Steel Mage screenshot, and wow, it is good. So again, between the 4 people I'm farming, there is no connection. So Guff, Gravicious, Janice, and Riker, they are not connected at all. But then Gravicious is connected to everybody else. Guff is connected to everybody else, etc. And I'll show off this in practice a little bit. So now you'll see why it's so powerful. We do have Guff here, and I can actually execute Guff for transport. So that gave me 6% transformation intelligence because of this node here at the top. And then obviously I get to level up Borichi or Itaflet. I do want to keep those as high as possible so that I can use them whenever I find them in the other branches. Obviously I never would do an option like that changes the board in any way. Alright, now we're in research. And you'll notice with this strategy, so many will very often appear. You do get the odd time like this, where a few people appear. Now, I can actually interrogate him here because the safe house isn't going to fill up. And you'll notice in the next map that I go in now, that it will, it'll just pop Janus right back in pretty much. Now, I do try to keep fortification, like, blocked, as in, like, filled up. So I'll fill that up here. She's going down to 1 stars. I'm also being a little bit slower than what I would normally do Betrayal because I'm so scared of fucking this up. Because it was like actually like 16 hours of work to get this set up. It is super worth it though. Holy shit. I can literally like fill up a safe house in 2 maps very often. It's so crazy. So now I didn't really get to do an option here. That doesn't really matter. Don't really care if intervention is filled. In fact, I prefer not to because the more I get to interact with it, the more I get the option like drop scarabs, drop currency. Not that I care that much about those. It's mostly about farming or ratios for full stacks and stuff, but you know, it's still nice.
This work?
There. So now, even though this isn't their safe house, I get to execute Janus for extra ranks there, and then I get to execute Riker. Now it's almost full.
Even an
So pretty much next research, it is filled up, right? Because I will get to execute Janus or Riker once more without any downside. And then I get to run the safe house. So it is enough that I can do one more interrogate without losing anything. Now, since Riker is here, I can execute Riker. Boom. Research safe house is full. Even though I didn't have to interact with the research safe house. As you can see, it fills up very, very quickly. There's obviously some RNG, whether you have just the one up here, but with all the betrayal lines being the way they are, very, very often they'll appear all four. For other strategies that I'm pairing this with, I'm actually farming Ritual, which is a very, very slow mechanic. But since I don't have the scarabs to actively farm Ritual, like make it really worthwhile, I'm actually fully ignoring it until I see the nameless altar. But then whenever I get the nameless one, I get like 3 or 4 audience with the king. So I'm basically kind of rushing through the maps, and that, in my opinion, makes Ritual really well paired. So I have red altars just to sustain chaos and chisels. I have Lost in Transit and extra ores, so I get loads of Calgarian deposits. Honestly, this is really weird, but like sometimes I get like 6 in a row and then I don't see one for an entire fucking day. It's not a very optimized atlas. I also have like a lot of the like connection nodes for more sustain. But yeah, Ritual and Betrayal. I really like it, especially when ignoring Ritual. Now, an important thing, you never want to do 2 safe houses in a row. And obviously remember, if all safe houses are filled at the same time, then there won't be any betrayal in the map. Anything that's filled up can't be in the map. This is also a really, really good XP, because betrayal in general just gives so much XP. So yeah, it's a surprisingly fast way to level. Not like abyss fast, but considering the rewards you get, really good.
I'm afraid.
And you get a lot of all-fly members, which is huge. So the main thing I'm farming, Kadiro, hoping to get a Mage Blood, or Aegis, just, I don't know, any good unique. And then, I mean, this stuff is kinda whatever. You just need to get lucky with the base. I don't even think there's a good... Oh, I guess I could get, actually I should have kept that for my unique collection. I guess I get the, Ephemeral Edge from that base. There's even like a few bases. You can get a Corrupted Amulet. That sucks because then you can't Ancient Orb anymore. And you can get a one-handed club. I remember which one. This one. There's no other club like this, so this can be Ancient Orb. But outside of that, like, it's nice for getting uniques on SSF. But this is definitely the best strategy, and while it seems pretty complicated, the bottom line is the ones you're farming is connected to everybody or not, and they are not connected to each other. If you're able to follow that, you can farm Betrayal extremely fast. And there are so many good things from Betrayals now. With the all flames are worth a lot. Obviously, the rewards from these 4 are really good, and in Trade League there's loads of different options. But either way, I just wanted to make like an explanation of Betrayal, and I think everybody will understand different people's explanations better or worse. I would also recommend you check out business and stuff, but hopefully I managed to make it short and to the point and easy to understand. Either way, let me know if it was too confusing. I can try to make another one. Don't know if I can make it simpler than this, but either way, sub if you liked the video. Try to die less than I do.